J-Dab. Let's rap about it, not talking bars, but conversation that break bars that left you mentally scarred. Conversations, relations, don't forget observations, points of view with clarification brought through revelation. Lock into the station, the Rapology show, where wisdom, knowledge, and understanding will grow. Hey,
you're complaining about chest pains. I'm watching you every other 10 minutes go to the bathroom because you're nauseous. These are all signs of cardiac arrest. And people, when they don't know that, they just like, oh girl, go to the bathroom, or you good? Oh, okay, you good, and keep it moving. But when you know, you know. So now I'm home there, auntie, you good? You know, I know you have a heart issue. When last time you been to that? You know what questions to ask. You know how to react to that. Or hey, let's just call 911, or let's go to the doctor and get that thing. But for sure, in the Black community, I often see us just very doubtful and not wanting to get that education. They don't want to go through the motions of having to sit in class and learn. And that's why I try to make it fun. So it won't be like an environment like, okay, let me write some notes, or let me put, here we go, or falling asleep in class. No, hey, we up, it's hands on, and I try to make it real life scenario. But definitely in the Black community, it's a lot of doubt, it's a lot of fear, it's a lot of being standoffish. And then you have some of the Black community that's on it. They want to learn. They're eager. Oh yeah, let me learn. That sounds like, and they have more people. It's like a passion to want to share.
Yeah.
And then you run into that handful of people, and it takes that handful to reach the whole community.
Yes.
And it's like we don't have enough leaders. It's a lot of followers in the Black community. So of course they say, oh, Melissa from the hood. What? She following the Lord? Nah, not her. But then when they see it with their eyes, it's like, hey, sis, can you pray for me? What was that scripture you were talking about? Let me go see about the God that you serve.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I see him working miraculous and miracles, and I see signs and wonders happening in your life. The same one that was out here rowdy, running the streets with me, doing drugs. You know what I'm saying? Not knowing my work, that same one. So it's like they're following. And is my uncle used to tell me there's more taught than taught. You know what I mean? So if I'm being the example and I'm showing you, this is what it is. I'm not just talking. I'm not just telling you, oh, take a CPR class so we can get some money in our pocket. No, take a CPR class so you can save a life when time needs to be saved a life.
And a lot of times I think there's that mentality of, well, I'm never going to need that. I'm never going to need that. But like you said, all your family members are sitting there with all these different medical issues. So it may be a day where you will need it. Just learn it because you need to learn it, just to have that knowledge just in case. I was in Whole Foods a few years ago and was at the register. And I was like the third person back. It was someone paying for their stuff, and then it was a couple in front of me. And I turned around and turned back, and the lady was on the floor having a seizure.
Oh, wow.
And, I'm not one of those people that probably going to give you CPR, but I call 911 though.
Yeah, okay.
I call 911. Don't choke in front of me. Don't do that kind of stuff. I'll call 911 all day long for you. I'm going to get you some help.
See, I like her.
But, and her husband, he just stood there.
Wow.
And everybody was going into a panic. The lady behind the register was going into a panic. And he said to everybody in that area, he said, everybody stay calm. It'll be over in a minute.
Wow.
And he just let her, and I mean, as quick as it started, it was over. He helped her up. They checked out, went on out the store like nothing happened. I'm a nervous wreck. I'm like, okay, so somebody call 911 for me, give me a sedative, something, because, yeah.
You can yell about it.
But suppose her husband hadn't been there. And none of us knew that we just needed to stay calm and, and just let this thing, pass. We would have all been in a panic, and we would have all been trying to do this and trying to do that because we're not educated. Exactly. And I know that's not CPR, or it could have been an issue where it could have been CPR, You
Well,
know,
she
had
kinda
she
see
went
it, yeah.
unconscious or something, so
Right.
we wouldn't have known.
Right. But he would have knew what to check for. He was knowledgeable.
Yes.
So that's why he could be calm.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
So let me ask you this. So going back to the Black community, do you think it's not a lot? It's not enough of. Because I'm pretty sure you have to have empathy to want to do the CPR and help others. Do you think that's what we are as a community? We don't have empathy with each other.
I don't think that we do. I mean, it's I hate to say it, but it's all about self. You know, it's not about helping others. It's how we can get ahead. It's how, you know, how can Melissa be straight? How this gonna benefit me? You know what I'm saying? How can I, especially with money? How can am I gonna make some money? You know what I'm saying? That's what they want to know, the benefit. And there's a lot of benefits to it, but they don't look at the benefit of actually saving lives or knowing that knowledge to apply it. They just look at it like, oh, how can I make some money off of this, or how is this going to be beneficial to me and my family? You know what I mean? And it really can. You can really do both. You can make money, it benefits to your family, and you can save a life. But it's just
Mindset.
thank you.
The mindset.
They need to shift their perspective when it comes to things. So yeah, I'll be trying to get to my people.
And you know, we don't realize that when we have the passion and the compassion and the empathy to do something that's going to serve someone else, that's going to benefit someone else. And we're taught this in church, but it's just not clicking that, you know, when you serve, you know, that comes back around. That is a law that God put in place. It's just a law. Whatever you give, good or bad, it's coming back. It's going to come back. So if you have the compassion and the heart and the empathy to serve other people and help other people, then that is going to come back to you in your life in some form. Now that doesn't mean you do it because of that, but you know, you have that promise from God that if this is what you do, this is what's going to happen. And a lot of us, we sit in church and we are preach this, what you sow. I mean, I know they talk about it on a money level, but it's not always on a money level. It's on any level. What you give is going to come back.
Yep.
So, I don't know. I think we just need to change our mindset, you know, in the area of serving, in the area of giving.
Yeah. My pastor, he has saying, well, it's scripture based. You know, you reap what you sow.
Yeah.
Right.
But he said you reap what you sow, so sow with intention.
Yes.
You know, be intentional about the things that you are sowing. You know, shout out to my pastor Paul Taylor over there at Kingdom United, and that has been such a game changer for me because it allows me to be intentional. It allows me to be accountable for what I am sowing. And like you said, it doesn't necessarily have to be about money.
Right.
How I'm sowing my time, how I'm sowing conversations, how I'm sowing, you know, just the things that God put before me. What am I being a good steward over? You know what I mean? So it ties into all of that.
It does. It really does. Oswald?
You took so long, I forgot what I was going to say. This is pretty good. Maybe all in there, wipe the tears up my eyes. No, but I want to speak to that I got this mentality.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that, and I'm guilty myself. You know, I'm like, man, I got this. I'll go to my doctor and check up. You know, my wife would tell me, you need to get back on your high blood pressure. I'm like, I got this. Give me the $5. Yeah. You know, man, you need to go just get a physical. I got this. You know, and I say that because, like we were saying earlier, how many pastors, how many praise dancers in the congregation up on the stage praising and dancing, getting all hyper, feel like they got this, and not one person know how to respond if somebody passes out.
Right.
You know, speak to that for me for a minute. How important is to have somebody in the body, whether it's the pastor, the first lady, the praise dancer, or somebody informed.
Yeah. Man, I'm gonna make that person go to the panel. You know, how, like I was saying earlier, how important is it, or how would that make you feel, the security you have knowing that at least one person in your circle know how to save a life?
Yes.
Just one.
Yes.
When your children go out, you know that they're safe. If something happens, somebody know how to respond in the correct way. There's not going to be a panicking going on, especially in the ministry. I've been seeing it more and more and more, and that's why Moments of Peace has been really pressing into the ministry, sending out proposals to the ministry like, hey, let's get your leaders in the ministry certified. because so they can see. Because you know, some churches they have a lot of elders in their church,
Right.
and they don't have don't get it twisted. You don't have to be an elder to go into cardiac arrest.
Right.
You have infants that go into
Mhm.
cardiac
Yeah.
arrest. You know what I mean? You don't have to have heart problems to go into cardiac arrest. You could be the healthiest person and still go into cardiac arrest. You just never know. So speaking to it, knowing, being secure in who you around. You know, if I knew, and if I didn't have a job, I didn't do any of this. But my rich uncle, I went to go visit my rich uncle. I know I don't need for nothing. I'm not gonna need anything because my uncle rich.
Mhm.
You know, but let's flip it. We rich in knowledge.
Yeah.
So now we know.
Mhm.
So when I go out places, of course, like I said, we're not walking like I wish somebody would pass out today. I'm about to do this. You know what I'm saying? I'm waiting for the next person to pass out. What's up? You know, not like that, but you can go out and rest assured that if something happens, I know the knowledge, I know what to look for, I know to call 911, I know, you know, all of these things, it just plays a part in saving that life. And if you think you got it, most times out of 10, 9 times out of 10, you don't got it.
Yes.
So you have that, and I've been there too, my brother. I got this. You know what I mean? And it's going to take something to happen. You know, it's going to take a circumstance to happen for you to see I don't got this. And I don't want any of my people, no matter the race, age, gender, I don't care. Before something happens, get knowledgeable.
Yeah.
You know, don't wait till you see your loved one on the hospital table fighting for their life, because the time between whatever happened and the time they got the ambulance there into the hospital, they lost all brain function and all oxygen to their brain because nobody knew what to do but panic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because that 3 to 10 minutes is very vital. Very. Especially if you witness something, you have to act immediately. You know what I mean? You can't sit there and think, do you have, you can't be scared. So, yeah.
So, have you actually used your knowledge, CPR things to actually save a life or two?
I have. I experienced something with my daughters when we was in the mall one day. I helped a lady from choking. I have no idea what she was choking on, but she was doing the universal sign, you know, holding her hands up to her neck, and my daughter still reminds me of this. She's like, "Hey, Mom, remember that time you saved that lady in the mall?" I'm like, "Yeah, she did, but it too, but okay." I'm still mad about that. But you know, even in that, you know, the technique with that, as we train how to do the Heimlich, you have to have your head to the side. You can't stand behind them in Heimlich because they're going back. They're pushing their head back. So of course I got hit, but in the moment I wasn't like thinking about it. But yes, I had to say that, and even in the working in the operating room, they had to do CPR all the time, so I had to stay ready, and it was scary. It was definitely scary, but my adrenaline was going, and by time, and I think that's why I thank God for a prayer life, because I always pray, especially going into stuff like that. I say, Lord, please equip me with what I need for this day, because you just never know what you have. People have things going on, and that's why I always joke and say, you know, when I was working at the hospital, I would go into the hospital and tease the surgeons before we go into surgery. Like, I hope everybody ate their Wheaties today, and you know, let's say a moment of prayer, and it always would shift the atmosphere, because if that emergency situation occurs, then you are operating in a sound mind. You're not, you know, that fear can't take over you. Your adrenaline going, but you know exactly what you're here to do, and you're going to execute it.
Right. So, you know, I'm glad you brought that up, because I wanted the audience to really feel your passion from your experiences and know that you're not just informed because you've read a bunch of books. You've been on the battlefield.
Yeah.
You've been there. You put work in. You
Yeah.
earned that S on your chest. Yeah. Good stuff. So we're gonna take us a little break right now. We're gonna pay a few bills. We're gonna leave y'all with a song, and we'll be right back with more of these powerful women right here.